Hello, everyone. It's your host, Michael. Welcome back. Uh, so today I have a somewhat special episode for you here today. It's not going to be very long. Essentially, this is just me showing off some gameplay that I have recorded from a game called Monster Hunter. I'll put like the title of the game at the very start of this. But essentially, this is one of the latest hunts that has been added to the series. It's a collaboration between Final Fantasy 14, I believe, and Monster Hunter, of course. So with this hunt, this is a hunt that was transferred over. Boss is called Omega. In this game, it's called Omega Planetus, only because there's supposed to be a differentiation between Final Fantasy 14 and this game.
Okay,
There's a whole story going into it. I'm not going to showcase it here. But essentially, there are some characters that came over from that game, explain what the situation is, explain what this is, and so this thing doesn't like destroy the ecosystem. You're supposed to go hunt it and take care of it. So right now, this creature, well, I don't even know what to call this, but this boss has been terrorizing the community as of late because it's considered to be one of, if not the hardest boss fight in the game currently. And Final Fantasy has actually done a couple collaborations with Monster Hunter before. Well, primarily the main one that I want to be focusing on is the one from World and Iceborne. The one from World was a boss called Behemoth. Behemoth was also considered one of the hardest boss fights in that game, especially the extreme version called, well, it was been titled Extreme by the community. It's just a nickname, but yes, it was considered the hardest boss fight in that game too. And this is no different. Well, this one is different in a couple ways. This one is mechanical. It's like a mechanical organism that's supposed to evolve. It's evolved by hunting creatures that I think is strong or worthy of its time. I'm not going to go through the whole story to what Omega actually is from Final Fantasy games because that's a long process. The entire story is very lengthy, and to be honest, I don't know the full scope of it. I just looked up like guides or like just lore drops on YouTube, and it explains it pretty well. It's actually pretty interesting in my opinion. So if you're interested in that, I would recommend go find it out yourself. But essentially, what I'm going to be talking about briefly is the way that this hunt is. This hunt is again one of if not the hardest fight in this game, and I've done this quest probably over 20, maybe close to 30 times. And the one I'm showing you right now is the one time I was actually successful in hunting this creature, and it still is the only time I've been successful hunting this creature. Many people have been attempting to complete this quest. This is Savage Omega, not the regular one. The Savage is the harder one. That's the regular one. You're more of a story beat. It tells you why it's there, and essentially, it's the easier one. That's the one you're supposed to complete before doing the Savage one. You can't even do the Savage one until you beat the normal one. So technically, I've done this twice, but no. When it comes to Savage, I've only done it one time. And the Savage one specifically has been completely decimating everyone. Now there have been talks from people, most of the time it's just newcomers coming into the game, but there's been people saying that this game is too easy compared to previous titles, primarily World and Iceborne, because that's where most of the fan bases come from. They started on World and Iceborne, but many of them have been saying, "Oh yeah, this game's way too easy. Yeah, nothing lasts more than like 10 minutes during a hunt." Of course, the differences between that any of the new monsters that have come in, or like the Arc Tempered monsters, where they're essentially just harder versions of monsters that are already in the game. Usually, they're like the apex creatures of the region. But this monster changed that completely, because now people are saying, "Oh yeah, I need to nerf it. Now it's way too hard. Now we can't beat it." But people were constantly complaining, "Oh yeah." Everything just dies too quickly. Like we're not getting any sort of challenge from any of this. Now we're getting a challenge. People want to complain. It's just some of those things that you just can't please everyone. But in my personal opinion, this fight, while being extremely difficult, it's actually incredibly fun. It's because A is completely different from anything we ever hunted. We never hunted like an automaton type creature before, so this is something completely different. It's in the shape of a beetle. Now, in terms of this game, there are like insectoid like creatures that you can fight in like in previous titles as well. Now there aren't many of them. Like most of the time they're like spiders. You'll see one of them later on in this video, but essentially when it comes to, well, that one's a little bit different because it's supposed to be like a hologram, so it's doing things that the normal one wouldn't normally do. But what I'm doing here is essentially I'm trying to, this is like the second phase of the fight, where it throws out a lot different techniques than it did in the first phase. And here you see me like dropping boulders on top of it. So in terms of this, there's a lot of technical stuff that normally isn't in the game, but you really got to pay attention to in this area specifically, or in this fight specifically. There's hit zones. So yes, every monster has a hit zone where certain attacks do more damage than others. This one is very peculiar because you'll see me for the most of this fight. I'll be at the very back of it, hitting the back legs. I'm using this weapon called Sword and Shield, which primarily has slashing weapons by slashing attacks, but it also has blunt. So it uses the shield as like a blunt instrument. So on the front legs, actually you're supposed to use blunt attacks on the front legs and on the head, while on the back, the slashing attacks do more damage. Now when it comes, there are weapons called bow guns and a bow, where like ranged weapons basically. Ranged weapons, in terms of the hit zones, I'm not too familiar with. I don't know where they do the most damage. If I'm not mistaken, they do the most damage on like the torso and the front legs, maybe. I will have to go back and look at it. But I won't showcase it during this hunt in particular. But again, I've been trying to attempt this fight for over 30 times at this point, and I've tried it with random people. I tried it with friends who are also trying to beat this creature, and unfortunately, either we just didn't get far or we failed during the third phase, which is that's like the second hardest phase. I'm like, well, this is up for debate whether it's the hardest one or not, because the third phase has a lot of nonsense that pops up during it. But in general, this phase is very straightforward. It's just the whole fight is just an onslaught. There are people who get through it fairly quickly. I think the longest time I've seen so far is like 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. But no, this entire fight is just a testament to your ability to stay in a fight for as long as you can. Almost every quest in this game is about 50 minutes. This quest is different, where it's only 35. So you have a very short time limit. You need to be doing as much damage as you possibly can consistently. If you're lacking in any aspect in terms of your damage output, if you're getting hit too much, you're not healing enough, or you're not paying attention, you don't know the attacks, you will lose. In fact, I uploaded both of these videos. So this video in particular, where I did beat the creature, and there's another one where I almost did it. I ran out of time at the very end when I was on the final phase. So here in our final phase, I was getting hit too much. I was running around too much. I wasn't putting enough damage in, and unfortunately, I did die towards the end, which getting back there takes about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. But unfortunately, yes, I just ran out of time. This entire fight is very technical. You need to know what you're doing. You need to be fulfilling roles. You don't need the roles if you're good enough to do it without the roles, and by all means. But this one fight kind of forces you to play like you're playing a Final Fantasy game, which makes it a good collaboration in my opinion. But essentially, you need a tank. Generally, you want 2 DPS, and you need a support player. Support players usually fall in line with being a hunting horn. DPS is literally just any weapon that does damage, and then tank is often left to people with shields. The shield weapons that people normally use are like Lance and Gun Lance. Lance is the most popular one because Lance is by far the most defensive weapon in the game. There is no weapon that does defense better than the Lance. You may see some of like the characters running around, like Alyssa, for instance, you'll see on screen. She is a Lance. She's a Lance NPC. Now she's probably the best NPC for this fight. We'll get into that later. But essentially, it goes in hand with what I was saying earlier about when I was trying to do this to other players. we just couldn't get it done. In terms of reliability, well, other players can do more damage than what the NPC players can do because they're real people doing actual inputs, doing the most optimal inputs to do the most damage possible. Unfortunately, those players also they share a lives with you. The NPCs they don't share lives with you, so if they fall in battle, they will do. Unfortunately, they just do. This fight is ballistic. They will not sacrifice one of your lives whenever they fall in battle. Unlike other players, which I'm afraid you can't. While you can be with other people that you know, you can have a party with them. Their randoms are kind of unpredictable in terms of whether they will survive or they're good at the hunt that you're trying to do. Again, this hunt has a very short time limit compared to everything else, so you need to be doing the most optimal damage, the most optimal defense in terms of trying to complete this. And a lot of times randoms they're just not doing it. And getting a set, a build. If you already have a tank build, most of the time you're not doing DPS. If you already have a DPS build, you're not going tank. If you're doing a support, which is not very common, unfortunately, then you're only doing support. You're not doing one or the other. You can switch between roles. If you have a shield on your DPS, I'm using sword and shield, I can be both support and I can be an attack DPS character. But generally, you're picking one or the other. You're not switching it up all the time. Well, I have hunting horns, or I did do in the past where I swapped between being support and DPS. It took too much time. It took too much, and that's also why I failed at one time. It was because I was doing too many different roles, trying to switch between them. It takes too much time and it takes too much effort to try to constantly switch in between. Oh, I need to be doing more damage instead of okay, let me switch to support for just a moment. No. In this, you have to stick to what you have, and you got to stand firm in what you're doing. And you need to memorize what exactly is going on. You need to understand the kind of attacks it's throwing out. There's an attack called the starboard laser, and it has two different versions of it. There's one that's larboard, I think it's saying that right, and there's starboard. Larboard, it's kind of hard to, unless you know what a boat is. You probably don't know what side it's going to shoot it out at. Larboard is generally the left side. I always remember it because larboard starts with L, where it shoots the laser to the left and swings it around like a 180 degrees. And starboard, it shoots to the right. Yeah, that's an easy way to remember. The lasers are a bit finicky too, where they don't blow up where they land. They kind of blow up towards Omega, not away from it. So it's a little bit funky when it comes to dodging it. You just kind of gotta figure out how big the radius is. Right now it's shooting the starboard wave cannon, so that one it shoots it to the right and it swings up. It swings around in a circle. Well, in the third phase it swings around in a circle. In the other phases it swings around is just 180 degree arc, and that's all it does. As this fight continues, he does different attacks. He does things that he does things in more, how do I say, numeric order. So, for instance, when he swings around like he did just now, he only does that once in all the first two phases. In the third and fourth phase, he does it twice. This flame attack that he almost always does it twice. In the third phase, he will do it 3 times, or he may do it just a single time and try to switch it up on you. During the fourth phase, it's a strict onslaught. There's no way to really sugarcoat it. If you want to get through the third phase, you simply just got to be paying attention the entire time. You got to be laser focused about what exactly is doing. Your opening stuff that you can use. You should be using all the natural resources around you in terms of droppable items, things that can fall on top of it. If it has weak points on it, then weak points stun it for a little bit, and it does decent damage. So you really want to try to prioritize hitting those if you can. You can break all 4 of his legs. You can break his head. Apparently you can break a part of his torso. Now I've never broke it because again I don't have that kind of weapon that's supposed to be doing it. I don't do enough damage on that torso. So here you're going to be seeing that it's popping out. I hit a DPS. This is a DPS check. Now generally Monster Hunter doesn't have a ton of these. Now there are quite a few creatures that have like DPS checks, but essentially all this is you got to hunt this one monster called Nerscylla, the spider I was talking about earlier, in a specific period of time. If you do not hunt it, you do not kill it, in that period of time, your entire team wipes. There's no saving the run. And even if you do have an extra life that you're able to sacrifice during the during this point, Omega gains like a defense boost after you fail that portion. So in order to get through this, you need to kill Nerscylla. He drops a shield where everyone will survive, and Omega is substantially weaker after he shoots his laser. Now, generally, it's said you have about a minute and a half to complete this section. If you do not complete it in that minute and a half, generally you might as well just give up. Omega gets that defense boost, and he needs the most bombastic he's been during this entire hunt. So generally, it's best for Nerscylla. There's elemental weapons. For this, you want to bring like a fire weapon, which is what I'm using now, which is a gun lance. Essentially, it's a more defensive weapon, but with very offensive capabilities. So as you can see, Nerscylla is very mobile. So you really got to figure out how to like pin it down. There's obstacles in the way, so there's things that call cactuars. They shoot a lot of like pin needles into the air. It does a lot of damage to you and to Nerscylla. So you got to be paying attention, trying not to stand too close to them. If you're getting hit too much, you need to go back and heal. There's also these things called mobiles. I actually don't know what the names of them are. There's these little green blobs. Essentially, they paralyze, poison, and they paralyze and poison them on Nerscylla. If you can't get hit by them too, if you get hit by them, then unfortunately you're also stuck down there for Nerscylla, of course, wasting time and potential damage that you could be doing to it. So after you defeat Nerscylla, it drops a gigantic shield. That gigantic shield gives you protection from the mega laser coming your way. And again, once you survive that, this is the final stretch. This isn't quite 4th phase. 4th phase is once you get down to the last area. But from here, you just got to do as much damage as you can until you ultimately defeat Omega. Now again, this is the only time I've done it. I was doing it on my own because I don't know. I was on that specific day. I was feeling competitive that day. I got so close at one time. I was like, no, I know I can beat this on my own. So I got some friends together. After that, I was like, okay, I need a moment. I think I need some help doing this. For like maybe 10 times doing the hunts and failing each and every time, I decided, you know what? They went to go do their own things. Like, okay, they're taking a break from this. I was about to call it quits that day, but I just felt something. I felt it in my bones that I can do this. So I decided to just, you know what? I'll do it one more time. I'll do it on my own. This is that one time I did it on my own. And I brought in support hunters. The support hunters are the NPCs. They give you an option to choose which ones you want. So I chose a tank, which is Alyssa the Lance. Kai, who's a support, he's playing Hunting Horn, which does buffs over a wide area. And he also drops bubbles. The bubbles give you like damage boost as well. And Rosso, which is a heavy bow gunner. Now, I don't have any audio for this clip, unfortunately. Well, I will have the music in the background. But essentially, if you could hear what I was saying, calling Rosso a bum. I only call him a bum because he likes to talk trash while he talks trash to you while you're hunting. If you get hit, it's like, oh yeah, you're bad. That's why you getting hit by that. I don't know, with the 50 lasers and rockets coming down from the heavens. Oh yeah, I'm sorry I got hit, but no, but it's yeah, this is just an awesome hunt. I was hunting this thing until like 3 a.m. I started at like 4. It's like, oh, I'm dedicating my day to hunting this thing and finishing this. So luckily, I'm very happy that I got to finish it. I'm trying to help a friend complete this quest. I don't know if they got it done. We stopped like last night, but we got into the final phase quite a few times. We're very close to finishing it. So unless they do it on their own, I probably will help them get it done too. But essentially, this is a very fun fight. Anyone who says, oh yeah, this is too hard, I'm just, hey, learn the game, bro. Get good and you start getting builds right. Learn its moves. Don't get hit. But this is a very fun. I'm very glad that this collaboration did happen. This is I don't know if this no they don't even normally have like one or two major collaborations. This is the first one. If they ever do it again, generally they have a the way Monster Hunter works is they have like their first version of the game with low and high rank, then they have a later DLC, which is like in terms of size, basically a brand new game, which is called Master Rank. That's generally where people are saying, oh, this is too easy. No, the Master Rank hasn't come out yet. They've done this literally since I almost want to say like the third generation, maybe earlier than that. But no need to relax. The game really hasn't gotten hard yet. It'll get hard later on. They're still adding things. They're still trying to balance the game. And you know, for any newcomers who've ever come to this, yeah, it's always like this. Trust me, you're not missing out on anything, and yeah, it'll get better as time goes on. But just give it a little while. But essentially, I just want to talk about this hunt very briefly, like as I am calmed down now, because I was crashing out. Doing this hunt because again, this is very difficult. And during this final phase, you'll see like, oh yeah, this is like an onslaught of just constant attacks, constant stuff coming at you. There's no way to really dodge anything. At certain points, you get stuck on a wall, you get stuck underneath them. Sometimes you get hit by other players. There's skills for that. You can get away from that. You see me like dodging for my life to get away from some of these attacks. From here on out, it's just gonna be the video. This essentially I just want to talk about it because I thought, oh well, this is cool. Yeah, I did it. Yeah. I really just want to talk about it. So I'll leave y'all to the rest of the video. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And if you want to see more of this, where I like break down like games I played, then I can do it. I'm only keeping it short here because I only have so much footage back. But essentially. Yeah. If you want me to go more into detail about like certain fights of the game or any games I play going forward, hey, just let me know. But thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you later. Deuces.
In there.